Get ready to dive into stories that go beyond the ordinary. I created this channel to challenge your imagination and give you a front row seat to compelling, advanced narratives. To keep these stories coming, please subscribe, like, and share with others who love this great story. 4-star domain competition continues. Title: The Gap is Too Large, Sacred Venerable How. With that, let's continue.
Upon hearing the words of the sacred Lord Hao, Lin Lao and Madame Yu also turned their attention to the Ring Mountain continent. They happened to see Lin Mohan slicing through a mountain with a single sword, killing most of the giant beasts within, scaring the remaining beasts into trembling and not daring to move. Lin Lao's eyes showed approval. This girl is quite good. Madame Yu smiled and said, she is the direct disciple of the Sword Orchid God Sovereign and has fully inherited the Sword Orchid God Sovereign's teachings. Lin Lao clearly recognized the Sword Orchid God Sovereign, so she is the direct disciple of Sword Orchid. She should be close to succeeding, right? Madame Yu nodded, very close. If fast, within half a year. If slow, within 5 years, she will officially step into the other shore. Lin Lao smiled, not bad, not bad. By then, our human race will have another expert in the other shore. Madame Yu said, not just one. The eldest disciple of the sacred Lord Hao is also half a step into the other shore and should break through within the next few years. Lin Lao's eyes flashed with brilliance. Sacred Lord Hao, congratulations. Sacred Lord Hao was not modest at all. Kiwu achieving the other shore is indeed worth celebrating for the human race. Madame Yu looked at the Ring Mountain continent, smiling. Sacred Lord Hao, who do you think will win the 4-star domain competition this time? Sacred Lord Hao said lightly, just look at the leaderboard. Leaderboard. Lin Moyu was far ahead with 186 points. The second place, Lin Mohan, had only 60 points. As for the third place, Dongfong Zi, he had only 18 points. The gap was simply too large. Lin Lao's pupils contracted. How did this little guy do it? He quickly locked onto Lin Moyu on the Ring Mountain continent and found that Lin Moyu was leisurely strolling, with a large number of skeleton god warriors sweeping through the giant beasts in the mountains or slaughtering them in the ocean. Lin Moyu didn't need to do anything. His points just kept rising rapidly. Lin Lao watched for a few seconds before speaking. Is this his spell? Sacred Lord Hao nodded. Yes, it's his summoning. Lin Lao sighed. Summoned creatures at the 3rd rank of the God King realm, and in such large numbers, are stronger than the summoning techniques in the Black Tortoise Star domain. If his summoned creatures can improve with his realm, that would be incredible. Sacred Lord Hao smiled. This is just the weakest of his many summoned creatures. Lin Lao's eyes widened. The weakest? How strong is the strongest? Madame Yu was also very curious and looked at Sacred Lord Hao. She was extremely curious about Lin Moyu. However, because Lin Moyu was under the protection of Sacred Lord Hao, she couldn't inquire directly or even investigate secretly. Sacred Lord Hao sipped his tea and spoke slowly. His strongest summoned creature should be able to reach the level of a minor god sovereign. Minor god sovereign? Isn't that a bit exaggerated? Lin Lao seemed incredulous. Not only did he not believe it, but Madame Yu also found it hard to believe. She said softly, his soul is already at the other shore. As long as he doesn't die, he will definitely step into the other shore in the future. But with his current cultivation, his combat power seems a bit too exaggerated. Lin Lao's hand holding the teacup trembled. Ming Yao said his soul is already at the other shore? Madame Yu nodded, confirming her words. Lin Lao found it hard to believe. A god king with an other shore soul, how can such an unreasonable thing exist? Sacred Lord Hao smiled. If it exists, it is reasonable. Not long ago, I cooperated with this child to clear out a batch of spies from various races. To cooperate with that operation, the demons, golden eagles, and 3 silvers formed a coalition to encircle and kill him. This child not only killed the coalition but also killed 3 god sovereigns. Lin Lao and Madame Yu were both speechless. After a long silence, Madame Yu sighed. I always thought this child's soul was extremely strong, but I didn't expect his combat power to be so formidable. Lin Lao also sighed. A god king slaying god sovereigns is enough to rival the war god. Sacred Lord Hao's words were even more shocking. I think this child has the potential to surpass the other shore. The words, surpass the other shore, were like thunder, exploding in the souls of Lin Lao and Madame Yu. Only those who had already stepped into the other shore knew the meaning of surpassing the other shore. The two of them never expected that Sacred Lord Hao would have such high hopes for Lin Moyu. Madame Yu had always thought that Sacred Lord Hao merely regarded Lin Moyu as an excellent junior. She never imagined he had such expectations for him. Lin Moyu treated the Ring Mountain continent as his own backyard. Various restrictions and realm suppressions were meaningless to him. Although he was young, compared to god kings and god sovereigns who were hundreds or thousands of years old, the gap was too large. However, the dangers he had experienced far exceeded those of these god kings and god sovereigns. In Lin Moyu's view, these god kings and god sovereigns lived too comfortably, protected too well by the human race. Places like the Ring Mountain continent, seen as trials by others, were simply paradises for him. The skeleton god warriors rampaged through the mountains, encountering no resistance. His points soared, far ahead of the others. In just a few days, Lin Moyu's points had already reached over 3,000. This was a despairing score. The second place, Lin Mohan, had less than 800 points at this moment. Lin Mohan's powerful attacks with the Nine Heavens Orchid Sword couldn't be used indefinitely. After 3 uses, she needed to rest and recover, gradually reducing her efficiency. The third place was once again occupied by Shui Jilon from the Black Tortoise Star Domain, with a score of 550. Despite the realm suppression, her numerous puppets gave her a significant advantage. Dongfong Zi was right behind her, also with a score exceeding 500, not far behind. Dongfong Zi gritted his teeth, not giving up. Maybe Lin Moyu has a large number of puppets. Maybe his spells are just suited for group battles. I still have a chance. I just need to find a leader-level giant beast. One leader-level giant beast is worth 100,000 points. If I can also get a purple jade token, that's another 100,000 points. If I can find just one, it would be worth him killing 100,000 or even 200,000 ordinary giant beasts. If I can find 2. Thinking this, Dongfong Zi's momentum rose again. He began to speed up, no longer entangling with ordinary giant beasts, searching for leader-level giant beasts. He couldn't match Lin Moyu's speed in killing giant beasts, so if he wanted to take first place, he had to find another way. Many others had the same idea. Several lagging minor god sovereigns also realized this. They understood that using normal methods, they couldn't catch up to Lin Moyu, not even Lin Mohan. They had to resort to unconventional means. Lin Mohan, after resting, naturally opened the task leaderboard and saw Lin Moyu far ahead. A bright smile spread across her beautiful face. My little brother is truly amazing. In the palace in the starry sky, Lin Lao and Madame Yu were no longer paying attention to Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu's performance was simply too boring. He didn't even need to lift a finger. Relying on his skeletons alone, he left everyone else in the dust. Lin Lao said, "It's still more interesting to watch this girl, Lin Mohan. Her understanding of the Nine Heavens Orchid Sword has reached a very deep level." Madame Yu agreed. The Nine Heavens Orchid Sword is a powerful inheritance from ancient times, but it's very difficult to cultivate and requires special talent. I wonder where the Sword Orchid God Sovereign found this girl who meets the requirements of the Nine Heavens Orchid Sword. Lin Lao said, although it seems Lin Moyu is leading, if they meet in the 4-star domain competition, I think Lin Moyu might not be a match for this girl. Sacred Lord Hao shook his head and smiled. If Lin Mohan meets Lin Moyu, she will likely concede. The two of them looked at Sacred Lord Hao in unison, puzzled. Sacred Lord Hao didn't keep them in suspense. Lin Mohan is Lin Moyu's elder sister. The Sacred Lord Hao thoroughly enjoyed the astonished expressions of the two, sipping his tea with a smile, finding the tea exceptionally sweet. Madame Yu, despite her surprise, gave the Sacred Lord Hao a flirtatious glance. Really, after all these years, your tastes haven't changed a bit. You still love seeing people surprised. The Sacred Lord Hao laughed heartily. Don't you find it amusing? Lin Lao was currently checking the information of the two on the Human Emperor network. As a top-tier existence in the human race, his permissions were very high. He muttered to himself, both of them come from a small world. Sword Orchid God Sovereign opened a spatial passage from the small world and brought Lin Mohan out. Lin Moyu, on the other hand, reached the Super God realm on his own and entered the Great World. At that time, it was the Night Wind God Sovereign who received him. Outside that small world, there were various God Sovereigns from different races guarding. Lin Lao noticed something unusual from the information on the Human Emperor network and murmured, "There's something wrong with this small world, something very wrong." His words piqued Madame Yu's interest, and she immediately checked all the information related to the two. Madame Yu also sensed something amiss and looked at the Sacred Lord Hao. "Sacred Lord, you must know about this, right?" She believed the Sacred Lord Hao must have noticed something unusual long ago. The Sacred Lord Hao nodded. "Of course, I know. That world is indeed very strange." Lin Lao said, "A small world that can nurture geniuses like Lin Moyu and Lin Mohan must have a big secret. If we can uncover this secret, it might greatly benefit our human race." Madame Yu was clearly tempted. "Sacred Lord, since you know, you must have investigated it, right?" The Sacred Lord Hao shook his head. I thought about it but didn't dare. Didn't dare? The two were taken aback. What did he mean by, didn't dare? Was there anything in this world that the Sacred Lord Hao didn't dare to do? Among the human race, the Sacred Lord Hao was a top-tier powerhouse, with very few who could surpass him. In the Great World, the Sacred Lord Hao was equally formidable. He dared to charge into the holy land of the Buddha race alone, forcing them to bow their heads and admit their mistakes. Madame Yu couldn't think of anything that the Sacred Lord Hao wouldn't dare to do. The Sacred Lord Hao sighed. I went to that small world but didn't dare to truly enter. If I had really gone in, I feared I wouldn't be able to come back. Lin Lao didn't believe it. A mere small world, you could destroy it with a flick of your finger. How could it trap you? The Sacred Lord Hao shook his head. Lin Lao, when have you ever known me to speak nonsense? Madame Yu suddenly thought of something and exclaimed, could it be that there's... She couldn't think of any other possibility and didn't dare to say it out loud. She quickly changed her words, but that's impossible. Didn't they leave long ago? At this moment, Lin Lao's expression also became serious, clearly thinking of what Madame Yu had said. The Sacred Lord Hao said in a low voice, 1,000 years ago, people came out of that small world, and it wasn't just one person, it was an entire race, a whole million people. Lin Lao frowned. An entire race entering the Great World, how come I've never heard of this? The Sacred Lord Hao said, at that time, my third disciple, Zhu Tian, found it suspicious and brought them in, arranging a life-star system for them and forbidding anyone from approaching. Later, I went there and found that many of these people had extremely high aptitudes, with nearly half of them being geniuses. The top few almost made me want to take them as disciples. Lin Lao was once again astonished. He knew how high the Sacred Lord Hao's standards were. Getting him to take someone as a disciple was harder than ascending to the heavens. Madame Yu whispered, with them gone, wouldn't that small world be doomed? The fate of a small world was closely tied to the beings within it. If all the beings left, the small world would basically be destroyed. The Sacred Lord Hao nodded. I thought the same at the time, so I went to check on the small world. It did seem heavily damaged, but I felt that its internal vitality had become even more vigorous. It felt like clearing out a batch of tumors, breaking and then rebuilding. At that time, I wanted to go in and see for myself, but I received a warning before I even got close. After that, I returned and found that those who had come out of the small world had all disappeared. There were no traces left, they vanished completely. Even using causal treasures, I couldn't trace them, as if they had never existed. When I left, I set up a star locking formation. The formation was intact, but the people were gone. Lin Lao and Madame Yu felt like they were listening to a bizarre story. The powerful Sacred Lord Hao was actually scared off by a warning. The people he had trapped with the star locking formation were taken away without a sound, and all traces were erased. They knew how terrifying such methods were. Erasing causality was beyond their capabilities. Madame Yu asked, so, even you don't know the specifics of that small world? The Sacred Lord Hao took a sip of tea, confirming her suspicion. Lin Lao frowned. Then how did the Sword Orchid God Sovereign bring someone out from there? The Sacred Lord Hao replied, I later asked the Sword Orchid God Sovereign. She said she received a warning at the time. A dragon elder from the small world warned her to take good care of Lin Mohan. How is this related to the dragon race again? Lin Lao felt the story was getting more convoluted. The Sacred Lord Hao continued, I later went to the dragon race and learned a secret. 10,000 years ago, the dragon race experienced some unfortunate events. A dragon with the bloodline of a dragon god was taken away. If I'm not mistaken, the dragon in that small world is the one taken from the dragon race. Taking away a dragon at the other shore realm, who could do that from the dragon race, especially one with the bloodline of a dragon god? Lin Lao and Madame Yu realized that only an existence of that level could accomplish such a feat. After finishing his story, the Sacred Lord Hao concluded, in any case, the secret of that small world is beyond our reach. I don't even want to inquire about the specifics of the small world. Sometimes, knowing too much can be dangerous. The Sword Orchid God Sovereign thinks the same way, so she never asks Lin Mohan about the small world. I suspect it might be related to ancient times. Madame Yu sighed, yes, some things are better left unknown. Lin Lao shifted his attention from the Sacred Lord Hao to Lin Moyu and Lin Mohan on the Ring Mountain continent. You hope these two youngsters can give you answers, don't you? The Sacred Lord Hao, tired from talking, took a big sip of tea. Indeed, I have that hope. Then let's wait and see. On the Ring Mountain continent, time passed day by day. Everyone had been walking for a long time, crossing one mountain forest after another. The Ring Mountain continent had a diameter of 1,000,000 kilometers and a radius of 500,000 kilometers. Excluding the distance from Fire Seed Island, each person would have to travel at least 400,000 kilometers in a straight line. Without restrictions, 400,000 kilometers would be nothing, a blink of an eye. But now, each person had to traverse mountains and forests like ordinary people, constantly fighting along the way, which would take them several months. Currently, the fastest travelers were the little god sovereigns led by Dongfong Zi. They tried to avoid fighting ordinary giant beasts as much as possible. Unless unavoidable, they generally didn't engage. Dongfong Zi was searching for leader-level giant beasts, but they were hard to find. A month had passed, and he hadn't found any. He had encountered several boss-level giant beasts, which brought him thousands of points. But thousands of points were just a drop in the bucket, and the gap with Lin Moyu was widening. The rankings on the task leaderboard were like needles, piercing the hearts of every genius. Lin Moyu was far ahead, leaving everyone else in the dust. In the first few days, there was still some hope, but after a month, that hope had become extremely faint. 1. Lin Moyu, 28,382 points. 2. Lin Mohan, 8,621 points. 3. Dongfong Zi, 3,312 points. 4. Zhuang Bai, 3,121 points. 5. Wei Bowen, 3,099 points. In the past month, Lin Moyu and Lin Mohan had firmly held the top two positions. The rankings below them kept changing. In the first 10 days, Shui Jilon from the Black Tortoise Star domain had been neck and neck with Dongfong Zi, constantly vying for third place. Later, for some unknown reason, Shui Jilon's efficiency drastically decreased, and her scoring speed slowed down, causing her to drop out of the top 10. Just when Dongfong Zi thought his third place was secure, Zhuang Bai and Wei Bowen emerged. With everyone's realms suppressed to the first rank of the God King realm, Dongfong Zi's advantage, though present, was not significant. You have your trump cards, and I naturally have mine. Dongfong Zi put away the task leaderboard. There's still time. We've only covered about 1/3 of the journey. The remaining 2/3 are the key. If I'm not mistaken, leader-level and boss-level giant beasts will definitely appear. If I can kill a leader-level giant beast, I can surpass Lin Moyu and become first. Leader-level giant beasts won't be easy to kill, but for me, it shouldn't be too difficult. Lin Mohan's sword is powerful, but it shouldn't be enough to kill a leader-level giant beast. I don't know Lin Moyu's methods, but his realm is only at the 3rd rank of the God King realm, and his methods seem to be more suited for group attacks, not necessarily for killing leader-level giant beasts. I still have a chance. Dongfong Zi had his own calculations. Over the past month, he had witnessed Lin Mohan's repeated sword strikes and had a good understanding of her capabilities. Moreover, he had observed Lin Moyu's scoring method. Most of the time, his points increased by 1 point at a time. This indicated that Lin Moyu's points were mostly obtained from ordinary giant beasts. From this, Dongfong Zi deduced that Lin Moyu had strong group killing abilities. In this aspect, he had to admit that he was not as good as Lin Moyu at the same realm. However, he was still a little god sovereign, and one who had half a foot in the Lost Star River. In terms of instantaneous explosive power, he believed he could crush Lin Moyu. As for Zhuang Bai and Wei Bowen, who had emerged later, Dongfong Zi didn't take them seriously. His goal was to surpass Lin Mohan and Lin Moyu, not to compete for 3rd place. The current rankings were just temporary. Lin Moyu stood on a mountaintop, looking into the distance. As far as his eyes could see, there were endless mountains. Each mountain looked similar, making it easy to lose direction. We've covered about 1/3 of the journey. The path I chose has many giant beasts, but it seems there are no leader-level or boss-level giant beasts. Maybe I should change direction. Although my points are far ahead now, it's actually an illusion. If someone kills a leader-level giant beast, they can surpass me. Lin Moyu roughly calculated that if he continued along this path until the end, his points could double, reaching about 90,000 to 100,000 points. This was actually less than the points from killing a single leader-level giant beast. In the sky, the 10,000-meter undead eye appeared again, carrying the undying flames, gazing into the distance. Through the undead vision, Lin Moyu saw the path behind him. Although he hadn't seen everything clearly, he had a general idea. The path he chose had the most giant beasts in all directions. But there was also a problem. There were no leader-level or boss-level giant beasts. Lin Moyu realized this halfway through and decided to change direction. The undead eyes slowly rotated in the sky, searching for leader-level and boss-level giant beasts. In the undead vision, blazing soul flames kept flickering. The stronger the soul flame, the stronger the giant beast. The undead vision could also distinguish between the soul flames of giant beasts and cultivators, as there was a fundamental difference between the two. After a month, the 100 cultivators had completely dispersed, making it difficult to encounter each other again. The undead eye searched for a long time but did not find any boss-level giant beasts. However, it did find a few leader-level giant beasts, though they were far apart from each other. Lin Moyu chose the nearest leader-level giant beast and changed his direction. The tea party in front of the palace continued. A month was just a blink of an eye for beings in the other shore realm. Because of the Sacred Lord Hao's high expectations for Lin Moyu, both Lin Lao and Madame Yu were paying close attention to him. They saw Lin Moyu suddenly stop and then change direction. Lin Lao, following Lin Moyu's direction, said in a low voice, "He's heading towards the location of a leader-level giant beast." Madame Yu lightly opened her mouth. He initially chose the golden light path with the most giant beasts, and now he suddenly changed direction. It seems he has a way to judge the number and strength of the giant beasts. Lin Lao said, "If what the Sacred Lord Hao said is true, and his summoned creatures have the combat strength of a little god sovereign, then leader-level and ordinary giant beasts would be no different to him. Even boss-level giant beasts could be easily killed, and he has a way to find them. Tisk tisk, the other little guys are going to be completely desperate. Should I add some spice to increase the difficulty for him?" As he spoke, he looked at the Sacred Lord Hao. The Sacred Lord Hao smiled, "Do as you please, but I think it's better not to break the rules. Besides, despair is not necessarily a bad thing. Every era has individuals who stand out. Just like the war god, who single-handedly ended the ancient era and started a new one. Who among his contemporaries wasn't in despair?" Lin Lao raised an eyebrow. The Sacred Lord Hao's words implied that he considered Lin Moyu to be on par with the war god. At least in the Sacred Lord Hao's mind, Lin Moyu's potential was no less than that of Xiao Zhanshan back then. Lin Lao finished his tea in one gulp and sighed, "What a pity. If the war god could meet Lin Moyu, he might consider taking him as a disciple." Madame Yu refilled Lin Lao's tea. "Don't talk about impossible things." The Sacred Lord Hao gently shook his head. "It's not entirely impossible. Let's see what fate has in store." He didn't elaborate further, and Lin Lao and Madame Yu exchanged a glance, tacitly agreeing not to press the matter. The Sacred Lord Hao knew many secrets that they were unaware of. If he could speak, he would naturally do so. If he didn't, there was no point in asking. Dongfong Zi was lucky and finally found a leader-level giant beast. It was a wolf-like giant beast, over 10 meters tall, with fur like arrows, each strand standing on end, looking very intimidating. However, to Dongfong Zi, a leader-level giant beast was not much of a challenge. It took him less than a minute to kill it. Just as I thought, a leader-level giant beast is at the 3rd rank of the God King realm, almost reaching the 4th rank. A leader-level giant beast is worth 1,000 points, so a boss-level giant beast worth 100,000 points should be at the 5th rank of the God King realm. A 5th rank God King realm giant beast will be a bit tricky, but still manageable. At this moment, Dongfong Zi's eyes narrowed as he saw a white light. Within the white light was a white jade token, right next to the giant beast's head. A white jade token, not bad luck.